Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Flow Show. It is Tuesday, the 21st of October. Nearly Halloween. Everyone can get out and be scary. A bit like these markets. Morning, Kate.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. Another day, another whipsaw market.
Yep, gold
Well,
all over the shop.
at least when we look at metals, the rest is okay. Yen is moving a bit, but the rest is pretty orderly, right?
Yep, pretty calm elsewhere. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on them bloody metals. Right, let's get stuck into it. Before I do, as you can see on the screen there, we have our Halloween sale on our trader funding program, 30% off all plans. I'll put the link into the Zoom chat there. You can take advantage of that. Use code SPOOKY30 to get that 30% discount. That's for anyone, new customers, old customers, don't know customers. So take advantage of that if you want. Right, let's get stuck into everything else. Find me papers. There we go. China, I forgot to mention yesterday, they are kicking off. They kicked off yesterday their what's called the fourth plenum, which is their 5-year planning meeting. All the top bigwigs in China come together for a shindig, and they all set out what they're going to do over the next 5 years. So that's kicked off. It could end with further indications of whether they're going to cut rates or not, or what they're going to do with the economy. So it's a pretty big deal in China, and we'll obviously bring the headlines as we get them from that. Over in Japan, Takaichi, she got elected as Prime Minister. She got 237 votes out of the 465 in the lower house. That was all confirmed there then, all confirmed in the upper house as well. LDP's Secretary General Satsuki says that they will work on economic measures as quickly as possible. One of the things that the LDP and Ishin have agreed on is to look at doing the nuclear reactor restarts, which have been one of these on-off things that have been going on for quite a while now. So they're going to continue to look at that. Takaichi, in the meanwhile, has been putting together her cabinet. She pulled in one of the other contenders, Motegi. He's going to be foreign minister and also take over what they're calling the trade negotiator portfolio. So he could be front and center in talks, particularly with the US, over things moving forward. The big name we were waiting for, who was going to be finance minister, taking over from Kato. That name is Satsuki Katayama. She's taken over. First thing she's been asked to do was push forward with tax credits and handouts. She says it's not unnatural to push forward Abenomics version 2025. So a little bit of a nod there to Takaichi, being from the Abe camp, or the Abe camp. She says economic growth isn't possible without investment. I wish there was a finance minister in this country who thought like that. Now, Kato obviously passed her the plaque that sits on the desk at the finance minister office, because she said FX should move stably, reflecting fundamentals. So that's something that gets passed down from finance minister to finance minister. Had no comment about BOJ rate hikes at this moment. So not wishing to step into that. Now, when she was touted to be announced as finance minister, she's seen as not a yen bear, let's put it that way. She's not against yen weakening, but per se, but there's weakening and there's weakening, shall we say. So she's not a big yen bear, as I say, but she's well in line, it seems, with Takaichi and her Abe stance as well. That's helped yen weaken a bit as well this morning. We did get a sources piece out from Bloomberg. Was dropped on over by Mr. Michael Brown on the BOJ, saying that they are said to be closer to a rate hike, but with no need to rush. Long story short, it sounds like they might not be hiking at the October meeting, or likely not hiking at the October meeting, but hike by the end of the year is still possible. So I thought we might start to get the sources pieces, and thus we did. So that's where we are with that. Kay, onto the politics. Takaichi, she's got a finance minister. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, about this yen thing, she actually, what Reuters was pointing at, she just repeated basically what Besant was saying earlier. But then, yeah, she just came back saying that it should all be moving in line with fundamentals. But the fiscal expansion is still very much on the card, and I think after a few rounds of reflecting, a few hours of reflecting what she would be like. I think she's rather siding with Takaichi and them going to build an Abe version 2 fiscal environment. So yeah, that's where we are right now. We will see. We will see because I still think the question about um, how she really looks at the yen is still a bit on the table. Even though she didn't say much, she also didn't give the green light to sell yen. But of course, those handouts, etc., they are all made to water down government finances, and it needs to be funded. And yeah, I think the reaction that we are seeing today on the yen is relatively normal. That spike on the BOJ was that BOJ sources was, I don't know. I mean, nobody was expecting them to move in October. Yeah, they're leaving enough doubt over December as well, but I think that remains to be seen. As we already spoke a few times on the show here, December is by no means off the cards if economic developments go as planned, according to Ueda and some of his BOJ bots. Yeah, I mean, this is where we are. It's all pretty logic, I would say. Yesterday we said so too. Yeah, I mean, we're rather looking at the yen remaining on the defensive now that Takaichi is in the seat. We will have to see how it goes on the international front. Because Motegi is a bit of a hawk, right? So we'll need to see whether they will start to fight a little bit against those big promises that they made towards the US or so. But that could potentially be a bit of a mover as well. But yeah, I guess we will hear from him relatively soon enough.
Yeah, and Trump's heading over there as well. I think he's stopping by on his
Yeah.
whistle stop Asia tour that he's doing over the next week or so. So yeah, we'll have to see how he gauges her game, Takaichi's golf game, if she picks up the clubs at all. So should we expect?
She plays, actually.
What?
Not sure she plays actually,
No,
but if you want to be,
I think she played at school or something.
If you want to be friends with the Orange Hurricane, you better play golf, and worse than him.
Yeah, or cheat worse. Yeah, whatever it is. But yeah, no, she did play at school. I think I read.
Oh, really?
That's one of the first things I looked up. Is she a golfer? You've got to. But are we to expect any big bazooka announcements shortly, or will she wait until this Asian summit thing's over and done with, and then look to pull her policies out?
Well, I think we've already heard. I mean, if Katayama is right in what she says, we've already heard what she's planning to do. But big bazookas? I'm not sure, Ryan. But she will just continue to put in packages and etc. We will see what she wants to do with the big firms or actually even the regional ones who really have their business still in Japan. The international ones, do they really need it? Because if you look at how they produce, sell outside of Japan, it maybe her first policy arrows will be shot at the local economy, and then we're talking about those handouts, but we could also maybe see some support where people get like tax reliefs, etc., etc. And there may be a bit of discussion coming because their coalition partner, Ishin, is not a big tax cutting party, if I read that correctly. So there could be a little bit of back and forth coming there. But we will see. I mean, now that they're all in place, it's always well received in Japan if people support the economy with big stimulus packages.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I mean, I'm not classing things like handouts to the population as a big fiscal package, even though it might amount to such. Giving someone 1,000 yen or whatever, is not exactly going to get the economy moving. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what comes from that. Right, over to Sweden, and Riksbank's the DN says our assessment is that interest rates will remain at this level for some time. But if developments are different from what we see ahead of us, we will adjust our monetary policy. ECB's Schnabel says Euro's global position is strong and should be strengthened. We got some great news out of the UK this morning. Have I even got the calendar on the right thing? Yes, there we go. Where are we? Up here. We got public sector net borrowing numbers, finance numbers, which were pretty horrendous. The second highest net borrowing since, I don't know, dinosaurs walked the earth or something like that. For Rachel Reeves, the big news is that she's got roughly just over a 7 billion black hole to deal with at the budget. Net borrowing for the first 6 months of the financial year, that's April to September, came in at 99.8 billion, which was above the OBR forecast of 92.5 billion. So as I say, just over 7 billion more than what they forecast. But there's two issues here. One, she's got a black hole, and B, the OBR couldn't forecast the sun coming up. So that's what that's worth. But that's the numbers she's got to work with. Going into the budget, you will get another round of these numbers if they're indeed correct, because this is stuff that we've managed to fudge up as well. But it's not looking good for her, and going to see how she needs to dig herself out of that hole, and the country in general. Excuse me. We did a little bit of data yesterday afternoon. We had the Business Outlook survey from the Bank of Canada, which came in pretty crappy. This is a quarterly thing they run here for Q3. They don't put the numbers on this calendar for some reason. So the main index number, shall we say, is the outlook for future sales. That was a positive 6 in Q2. It was a negative 2 in Q3. The overall survey index came in at minus 2.3 versus a prior minus 2.4. So a bit less crappy, but still crappy overall. The comments and the notes in that report didn't paint an overly bullish picture for businesses in Canada. This is a report that the BOC look at very carefully, so not a good report at all. We also got some PPI data out of Canada as well. Bit of price pressure creeping in, perhaps. Raw material prices up 1.7% from prior minus 0.8%. Obviously, things like raw materials can be quite volatile in the main. Overall PPI year on year up 5.5%. So potentially some inflationary pressures there. White House's or Mr. NEC hopeful Hassett says he thinks a shutdown is likely to end sometime this week. He says China and rare earths, or speaking of China and rare earths, he says Australia are going to help in diversifying away from China. Trump, as I say, he's on his tour. He's meeting people. Him and the Australian PM signed a critical minerals agreement. Then he also threw out a line saying that there's a potential 155% tariffs can come on China on the 1st of November. I don't know if that's just another number he's pulled out the air. It was 100% last time. I don't know if this is total. Anyway, that's what's happening, unless we make a deal, he says. He also says he's been invited to go to China, and we'll be doing that early in 2026. There's a lot of stuff still going on regarding Ukraine and Trump's another potential meeting with Putin. They're trying to organise that for Budapest if they can get Putin's plane to fly over airspace that has currently blocked Russian traffic. We'll see. I'm sure they'll manage to work something out. So that's ongoing. The EU's getting up in arms again because they say no deal can be made unless it involves them and obviously Ukraine. So that is still dragging on. Aside from that, there's not much else on the headline front going on that I managed to pick up this morning. Kay, you've got anything else?
Nah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's like little bits and bobs because yesterday there was this little line that I don't know what was it, Rubio or so, who said Australia is now helping the US to diversify from China's rare earths, which put a bit of a bid under the Aussie yesterday, but that with the dollar being doing better, it again capped at where it had to really, that 65 2025. But no, apart from that, I think we covered everything that's important for today's markets.
Yeah, really not much going on at all. There is a slim possibility, let's call it that we do get some movement on the shutdown stuff this week. There's some other people who need paying and all this sort of stuff, so they might work on a deal, and if so, then they'll call back the houses to vote on it. But it remains to be seen whether that's going to happen or not. But there might something be happening from that. So you had a look at what's coming up today. We get CPI from Canada. Woohoo! Actually get some data to look at. CPI over there expected to rise to 2.3% from 1.9%, and some of the other measures also looking to rise or be thereabouts. The core common expected coming up 2.6%. The others medium and trimmed round about where they were last month. So something for Bank of Canada to get its nose into on that. You expecting much if we get a hot one from this one, Kay?
Well, if we get a hot one, we may need to reprise the expectations perhaps a little bit. If I saw that correctly, there's quite a high expectation for the Bank of Canada to go another 25 BPs next week, no? Let me just quickly confirm that. Yeah, I think is a fair bit priced in for the Bank of Canada next week. So there may be a bit of a surprise coming if it's really very sticky. It's quite funny, the Canadian dollar, because well, first of all, it found decent support on the dollar, Canada, but the Canadian dollar in general is still not feeling too much love, despite half a deal may be signed at the APEC, as they said. The Globe and Mail said that this morning. Still can't find too much love. So will there be a bit of a surprise if we get a sticky one this afternoon? All possible, but then, as you already mentioned earlier on the show, the Bank of Canada survey wasn't great at all. So I guess it's going to have to be a real hot one to change the expectations in the market for the Bank of Canada.
Yeah, I think so too. Anelli, yes, I'm still long dollar CAD, waiting for a move up to 141, or if we can break up, at least get above these prior highs. But it's back above this sort of area here, 140, 20, 30s into that little zone we've got going on there. But it doesn't look like it's ready to bust a real move yet. We just pretty much matched that high that we got on Friday. So not ready to stray too far. Maybe we'll see what happens when we get some data. We were looking at dollar yen. And yeah, it's been climbing. We're creeping back up towards that 152 level, which will be interesting to see whether we can do anything there. Is it going to turn around this trend that we saw from the 153s? It's looking like it's doing that at the moment, or I know people might be looking at some sort of bear flag setting up here, but we had these series, lower lows, lower highs, and we're starting to break some of those. So that gives us an indication that maybe we're going to be getting back onto the trend, which has been going up ever since we had this move. So we've had that big move. It's not going up, okay, with the same sort of speed. So it's really down to, you know, what's next from Japan. But there's nothing really on the other side that's going to strengthen this much. Not even the BOJ, as we've been saying.
No, no, that's the thing, right? Now, I think we need to look at it from that angle, and also today the dollar itself is doing a bit better again. That could be an additional factor, but when we look at most of the yen crosses, they are still bid, still at high levels. So that is going to help the dollar yen as well, or to just to keep a lid on the yen. I think for now there's not too many reasons to buy it, right? That's the thing. There's always the question is like, do we have a reason to buy yen at this stage with everything that we covered on the show? I would say no. There is no reason to step in and buy the yen. Now the market is the market. We can always see some setbacks, but I think we tried to break that trend to the top side, but then it's never gone below levels where we had the news about Takaichi coming back on board. So I think that really keeps us on the relatively upward path. Yeah, I don't want to talk my book too much because I'm long dollar yen and euro yen, but yeah, I just fail to see reasons to buy yen right now.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Even while I'm still a little bit short, I was going to tinker with my stop yesterday. I didn't bother. I might chuck that out, or I might just stick it above the stop on the rest above 152, just to see if it goes or not. I've only got a bit left of my short from up at the 153s, but yeah, I'm trading against my own view, which is the same as yours, that we should be seeing this week and a bit more, but. You know, I don't like to throw in a winning position just yet because you never know what happens next. But I think 152 will probably be my make or break point for that. You're right what you say about Euro Sterling, Ali. A bit of a lame duck. Yeah, it's not really ready to do anything at the moment. We do have CPI data tomorrow. Retail's on Friday. I think it's tomorrow anyway. So that might be a bit of a mover. But certainly that data out this morning didn't do much for this one, Euro Sterling. So we'll see what happens with that one. What else? I'm keeping a bit of a beady eye on this dollar China because it is just starting to edge lower. They're keeping the fixes down in the 709s, but they've glued it there for now. So it doesn't look like they want to be strengthening it at all yet or significantly.
Go on to the daily and put the cloud on there.
Let's have a look at the old daily and cloud.
That's what I showed this morning in the room. Maybe if you put the cloud on there and zoom in just a little bit, look at what happened over the past days, weeks. It seems like it goes like in line with it, right? It's a bit of an overhang there. Cloudy times for the dollar China. And I also think, you know, taking into account that, US is going to give in to something to China. I guess the markets are thinking that China will come out of any meeting with some sort of a victory, and that's keeping the yuan relatively big. Not saying, not saying it's going to fall out of bed, but it's just to me because I'm a little short there too with you, and it's just looking like it's just going to continue to slip and slide this one.
Yeah, I've got that feeling as well, and I'm wondering. I mean, I'm a bit sceptical of this Trump Z meeting. They've been playing much more hardball this time around than they did the first time around. You know, all that stuff they pulled out the other day, the export curbs and everything like that. And I don't know, it just feels maybe they're not going to be so easy to get a deal done with, or they're going to push really hard for stuff. And I think if this Trump Z meeting doesn't yield anything positive, other than the usual platitude rubbish, I think I don't know, they might want to start doing something with this to offset whatever Trump throws at them. So that is a risk. I think if there's no deal done at this meeting and Trump slaps his tariffs on and it all starts kicking off, I think they might start moving this about.
You think back up then, or even lower? Because I've read an article, and of course articles are what they are, but that Asian investors at least are starting to go back into China now. Imagine that China gets a bit of a psychological victory there. Okay, if it's a big battle, it's probably going to go back up to, I don't know, 715, 720 or so. But
yeah,
if there's no huge fight, I don't know. I'm starting to think that we could actually close the year much closer to 7 or below than 720.
Yeah, well, I mean that's it. I've got similar trains of thought. You know, it's on two sides. If it turned into a big global bum fight, then yeah, this is probably heading higher. But if they, you know, like you say, turn a bit more inward, you know, get other countries doing deals with them, and you know, because they keep want to pump the yuan as a global currency. Yeah, I think it could go the other way, and we could be down at the sevens. So yeah, which way it goes, I don't know, but. I think if it goes wrong between Trump and Xi, then I think the yuan's going to be right front and centre for some possible moves and what happens next. So keep an eye on that. Looking at the wider picture, let me just knock that off quickly. You know, it's going to be pretty clear if they do let it go, depending on which way. We know where they don't want to let it go past or haven't wanted to let it go past. It's up in these 730s, mid 730s. They've been pretty verbal when we've been up there. Same when we've got down to these sort of low areas, under 670s. They've been pretty verbal down there as well. So it might be one of these things, Kay, where we have to let it wander for a bit and then see where they decide to draw the lines.
Yeah, and it's even though it's costing a little bit to be short dollar China, it's not a big funding stuff either. So we can be patient on that one and let the whole thing just play out. I think we will know more by the end of the month, right? On that APEC during those APEC things, once they get back home, both of them, they will probably tell us what we need to know. And what is really strange is that Xi has been mum, completely didn't say anything at all. I mean, Trump all over the place as we know him, but Xi hasn't said anything in any direction, which is a bit strange, I find. So
Yeah.
he seems to be up for the fight, right?
Yeah, exactly. And well, maybe he's been had his head down at this meeting that they've all kicked off in China. The last thing I think they want to talk about there is what's going on with Trump. But anyway, yeah, Ali, your gut feeling may be right. Everything will be okay and the deal will be done. Just remember, you trade with your head, not with your heart. So it doesn't matter what your heart thinks, you trade with your head and what markets do. Right, mate, I'm going to strike it over to you.
Yeah, obviously, we're going to have to look at what happens in metals today, right? Because we had another one of these bonkers days where especially silver gave it up. We had this first warning shot at the end of last week, and now we're having another one today. Really, yesterday was kind of trying to hold that channel, and somewhere in the 51s. But today, really, we had a big shakeout. Um, Okay, we've been warning. I've been warning about this. This is getting a bit violent, those swings, whatever. So we may be seeing like more moves like this. I think it's going to continue to be volatile. Just pay attention because in the meantime, we're already back above 50, right? In silver. This whole zone here, 49 three quarters, 50 and a quarter, 50 20, is going to be very important on the close. It does seem that some people are wanting to take profits. We all know that there's this Indian thing, silver shops are running out, and etc. etc. But we also know that when it comes in the press, it may be running on its last leg. So be a bit careful and just watch the close. I would say if we get a close below this 49, 70, 50, 20, we could start to move a little bit lower. Then first port of call will be probably around is 48 and a half, but I've got much bigger zones, and don't rule it out because we have seen this is now done $5 10% since the highs. If you look from high to low here, another 10% would bring us in this zone here, where there it'll be very important, I think, as well, around 45 and a half, 46, something like that. But there are levels in between to watch, obviously, but it's getting extremely nervous. Now, this also can mean the other side, because if you see look at this level, you look at this move, sorry, and then you start to find bids again, or the bids are starting to come in again, you may also start to build a new support here, right? Finally, we had this big test which I wanted to see as well. Now let's see where we close. As I said, I mean, this whole thing, I don't think is over yet. But we have to, as we already said on the various shows, we have to always keep into account that we can have like very severe setbacks. Yesterday also, Dale made a good call about the gold-silver ratio, gold doing better than silver. Is still a speed thing, right? So the silver market is much smaller than the gold market in general, and much less used as well. Just one example by central banks. Gold had the same similar kind of thing, but a lot less pronounced, even though we did over $100 from the high to lows. Now this 43, 75, 80 is shaping up as really being a very important level for us now to watch. People talking about double top, but for the double top to trigger, we will have to get below this 41.85 that we saw last Friday. So in the meantime, though, is trying to put up a fight just along this trend line that has formed, and it's a very short-term one. It's only like a good week old, okay? So don't hang your hat on too much onto this trend line, but it does show up, okay? So and that's around 42, 50, 42, 45-ish, right? So this is one that intraday we already will need to keep a close eye on, and then this prior low here, which is also right above a bit of a bigger support zone here, a high, a low, before we did the last leg higher, around 41, 60, 80. But I think the bigger one, and then we're talking about potentially that double top um, being done, is if we would get down into this zone where there's some more longer term trend lines starting to roll in. So and that would be anywhere from 40, 60-ish down to a little below 4,000. Okay, don't rule anything out in those markets where you do $100 in a few hours. Okay, but for the time being. Seen both of them. Gold is holding. In general terms, gold is holding a little bit better than silver is doing right now. Okay, so keep that in mind. Yeah, euro dollar is doing better globally. Euro giving it up a little bit, but will we really fall out of bed? I'm still not 100%. I'm still not sure. I'm out of my I'm out of my euro dollar leftover. Well, I actually transformed it into euro yen yesterday. Um, Possible here 116.10, then 115.90s or so, but for as long as we don't break outside 115 and a half, 117.20, 30, this is going to be short-term noise rather than picking a new direction, I would say. Yeah. Cable doing a bit similar, but we've been this 133.60.65 is still a pretty decent hinge on the cable. So we really need to get below there to have a bit of an acceleration, maybe down to 30s. But it's looking very similar to the euro dollar. Does the dollar? The question is today: does the dollar have the strength to force something? And if I'm not mistaken, there is absolutely nothing coming out today on the dollar side. So we will be. Does that leading in? Well, yeah, leading index. It's never moved much. I'm not even sure it comes out today. But yeah, here is similar than what's happening on the euro dollar. Do we have the strength to really get going on the dollar and take it back down below 133 is going to be the question. I do think that even though euro sterling isn't moving at all right now, the market doesn't seem overly, or well, has tried to look at the sterling negatively, but for the time being is putting that ID a little bit in the fridge. We will see what's happening on the euro sterling, but it looks to me like euro dollar and the cable are going to run similar paths. So the question is really, has the dollar strength to break lower, to have this cable break lower and go for one, maybe have a look at 132.90 over the day. That would be, I think, through 60, 65, 30, 35, we may see those small accelerations if they come. Okay, if they come, just look carefully at those levels. And really, I think on the day, for those who thought that S&P was rolling over, I've got two blue lines here, and I'm going to just hide this for a while. Hide those things for a little while. I've got two blue lines on my chart, and the first one has been tried a couple of times, and it comes in at around 65 and a half, 65.50 right now. Of course, below here we have the 65, but that's the shorter term one, okay? And the longer term one comes in around 62 and a quarter. For as long as those don't break, I'm not really going to look for reversals, okay? We could have a break of this one around 65, 55 and a half, and then go and have a look at this one. A lot of people are calling for 6400, which is around here or so. But I would say if you start to break below here, we could go down here, but there I will really start to look to perhaps get long again. But for as long as that doesn't happen, it is just stubbornly beat. Okay, I people who are calling for reversals on the S&P, I think they may be left in the cold again for as long as we don't get confirmed breaks of especially this one in the short term, but then really the bigger one around here when it comes to longer term moves. And that's it for today. I see that your Euro Swiss is doing a bit better, Ryan. Do we see a little bit of people sitting on the bit there? Because we had a look at the 92 figure or very close, and it's bouncing a bit this morning.
Yeah, it's a bit of a level down here, isn't it?
It's a big one.
You never know. You never know where these guys are sitting, but
It's a big one.
yeah, it's a big old one. you never know with that. They might let it flush out and then they'll come in and start bidding up again. But yeah, I'm giving it a go. It's a decent level on its own. We'll see
It's
what
big.
happens.
Oh yeah, it's big. It's big. It's big. Just from a technical point of view, you know, well, unless you want to run it deeper, but you know where your stop is basically. It starts to go below 691.80 or so. I mean, it's probably not going to be good. But then again, yeah, they could go and sit on the bid and just not let that 92 go for the next weeks.
Yeah.
Back over to you, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm sticking my stop, trying to stick it out the way anyway, under 91.50, just in case there's a bit of a stop flush, and then it bounces from that. But we shall see. We shall see. Right, thank you everybody for coming to the Flow Show. As always, do have a great day ahead, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow, hopefully with a bit more on the news front, things going on. But otherwise, plenty of price moves. Have a good day, everyone.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.